From the John DeVita Broadcast Center, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Opinions with Joe Rouse on the Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network. And now, here is Big Joe.
Hello, Chicagoland. This is Big Joe, and you're listening to Opinion at John DeVita's Broadcast Center on the Northwest Side, Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network, www.windycityhometown.com. Anyhow, we're here to talk about a few things, and we want your opinion, because I have an opinion on everything. And so what we're going to start out with today is football. It is football season, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. There's so much talk about football and head concussions and injuries and all this stuff. Well, I have an opinion on all that, and I'm sure you do too. Now, everybody that goes out in life and plays football or baseball or hockey or any other sport, we all know there's injuries. Everybody gets injured. We take precautions, we do what we can to prevent such things, but still, things happen. This whole concussion thing in football, hey, if you don't want to play the game, if you want to play the game, you got to know what could happen to you. Just like in soccer, they say in soccer they use their heads to hit the ball because they can't use their hands. Well, they're saying that people that play soccer are getting Alzheimer's and other diseases from all the bashing with the head and the ball. My opinion is, hey, go play it for a few years, make your money, and get out. You just go to school, you got high school, you play football, you got college, you play football. Once you become a pro, get your contract, play 3 or 4 years, make your money, and get out and go live your life. You go to college, you get an education, get your education. Learn something else besides the sport. And go on with your life. Be something more than a sports guy. Because sometimes it's not the best thing in the world because of the drugs that they fall into and the money. Do your 3 or 4 years, get your contract, make your money, and get out. Go into business for yourself. So, if you got any opinions on that, we'd like to hear them. Because that's what it's all about. And how about weddings? Let's go to weddings now. How much money do people spend on weddings today? I've been to a couple of weddings over the summer. And there had to be $50, $60, maybe more, $1,000 spent on these weddings. I don't understand. That kind of money, that's a down payment on a home for people. Why are we giving it to a restaurant? Why can't we just do the old Italian style peanut weddings? I don't know if many of you heard about a peanut wedding, but a peanut wedding is beef sandwiches and beer and peanuts, actually. And it's a family get-together. And that's what weddings are all about, our family get-togethers. Get to know each other, get to party with each other, get to reminisce about the old times. So, weddings have become... I was at one in New York over the summer. It was the most unbelievable one I've ever seen. Don't get me wrong, it was beautiful. I can't imagine what it cost. But they had 2 hours of appetizers. More food than I've ever seen. 2 hours of appetizers. That's right, John. It was the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen. And I don't mean guys walking around with little plates of food. I'm talking about islands, tables of food. They had everything you could think of. From baked clams, calamari, bruschetta, pastas. They had a ravioli bar. They had a sushi bar. They had a guy cooking ribs. They had a guy cooking hamburgers and hot dogs. And this went on for 2 hours. Now, how are you supposed to eat dinner after 2 hours of appetizers? Can you imagine? But wait, that's not even the half of it. After the 2 hours of the dancing, the singing, the music, and the eating, you went into a dining room where, like Italians, they like to do a first and a second. Well, they had 2 pastas to choose from for your dinner as your first, and 8 entrees to choose from for your main meal. Now, I've never, ever been to a wedding, and I've been to many, seen where you got 8 entrees to choose from for your meal. So that means they're cooking everything fresh right then and there. And this is like almost like 250 people. I don't know how they do it. It was unbelievable. I can't understand or realize the money that's spent on it. And I understand the whole party thing, and you know, it's hopefully it's the only time you do it, you know, the one and only time, and this and that. But you're giving all that money away to somebody you don't even know. That's the part that kills me. You know, you're giving to, not that the guy don't deserve it, but I mean, you're paying for all this stuff, but you're giving all this thousands and thousands, $50, $60, $80,000 away to somebody you don't even know. I mean, wouldn't it be better just to put that money in your pocket, throw a nice little party, intimate, and get a few bucks, and then go about your life and you know, take that party money, because you never get that money back from it. If you spend $80,000 at a wedding, I bet you'd be lucky if you got $40,000 back in gifts. So you're losing 50%. That's crazy in today's market. Kids, you know, especially these kids today. Now, if your parents got loaded, they got a lot of money to spend, that's a whole different story. But I see kids struggling left and right just to save up enough money to throw a wedding. Keep that money. Use that for your down payment on a house. Don't give it away to a stranger in a restaurant that you don't even know because you want to throw a big party because you feel you have to. You don't. I've been to they call destination weddings, where the couple goes somewhere, they get married, immediate family or friends, whoever can afford it, want to go and see it, they do, and then they come back and they throw a picnic, or like just a nice little pizza party or something, a get-together for the friends and family to celebrate their union. Now, that to me is the smartest thing to do, because now you're not wasting all that money, and the money you saved up and the money you get as gifts could all go towards maybe a down payment on your home, to give yourself a good start in life instead of going into debt or having your parents spend all this money. Well, again, if they can afford it, that's fine. So there's all kinds of history behind weddings and ancient weddings and peanut weddings and stuff like that. So I think there's a lot more fun ways of throwing a wedding today than the traditional. Let's see how big of a party we could throw so we could impress everybody. You want to impress everybody? Get married and stay married for the rest of your life. That'll impress the people. Okay, not the party you throw. So that's that. That's my opinion on weddings, okay? Now, let's have some crazy fun facts. Did you know that it's illegal to ride an ugly horse in Wilbur, Washington? Now, don't get me wrong. Some of these facts are old, but these were laws at one time, dating back to the 1800s to the early 1900s. So you can see how the world has changed in many ways. In Mojave County, Arizona, if anyone is caught stealing soap, he must wash himself with it until the soap is gone. I don't know if he's got to do that in front of everybody or not, but hey, you never know. Okay? How about this one? First cousins may marry in Utah, but only after they're 65 years old. I guess that would be because they figure they can't have kids, so they allow it to happen. In North Dakota, no one can be arrested on 4th of July, a holiday that is commonly known there as Five-Finger Discount Day. So on 4th of July, you can go rob all you want and they can't arrest you. I'm sure that law they're no longer enforcing that law. In Tennessee, it's illegal for children to play games on Sunday without a license. What kind of license you need to play games? Who comes up with this stuff? But these are all true facts. Again, these laws were from the 1800s to 1900s, so a lot of them don't take effect anymore. It is illegal in California to lick toads. Apparently, some people are licking toads to get high. Unfortunately, some people were being harmed by the toad's poison. So I guess the toads do have poison. It is against Michigan state law to tie a crocodile to a fire hydrant. Now, who the heck would have a crocodile as a pet anyhow? And how many crocodiles are in Michigan? I wouldn't even know. Colorado law states that man cannot marry his wife's grandmother. Hello? Why would you marry your wife's grandmother? How about this one? A woman in a house coat is forbidden to drive a car in California. Well, why would she be in her house coat if she's driving the car? I don't know. What's your opinion? According to Minnesota law, a person who double parks a car will be put on a chain gang with only bread and water to eat. Well, that can't be that old of a law. How long have cars been around? Only like 100 years. I can't imagine that happening. A man is forbidden to kiss a woman while she's asleep in Logan County, Colorado. Well, who'd be watching you who'd be watching you kiss your wife or a woman while she's sleeping? Who else is there? There are still laws in Pueblo, Colorado, stating that it's illegal to grow dandelions. You know, dandelions they used to make salads, the leaves. A woman in Memphis, Tennessee is not allowed to drive a car unless a man is in front of her waving a red flag to warn people of other cars. I guess they never really trusted women driving. They haven't gotten much better. Just kidding. Women drive just fine today. Actually, they drive more aggressive than men. A lot more aggressive. It used to be tickets for teenage men were like double of teenage women. I bet you if you look now, it's either tied up or women get more tickets than men because they're the ones with the heavy feet. Or foot, I should say. How about this one? It is illegal for children under the age of 12 to talk on the telephone unless accompanied by a parent in Blue Earth, Minnesota. What would happen to cell phones today if you wouldn't let 12-year-old kids have a phone? I think they give kids phones at 9 today. Everybody's got a phone. In Eureka, Nevada, it is legal for men to have mustaches. It is legal for men who have mustaches to kiss women. Well, I guess I'd be shaving mine off. I mean, holy cow. If I got a mustache, I'm not allowed to kiss women. I'd have to move out of that state or shave off my mustache. Pickles were outlawed in Los Angeles because the smell might offend people. How about that one? How about in St. Louis, Missouri? It's illegal for firemen to rescue women wearing a nightgown. If she wants to be rescued, she must be fully clothed. What the heck is that all about? So if I run into a fiery building, I'm a fireman, and a woman's in her nightgown, I got to tell her, you got to stay there until you put something on? Well, what if their closet's on fire without her clothes? I think John liked that one. Yeah, it's pretty funny. There's all kinds of crazy laws that were out there. Again, I'm sure these aren't laws anymore, but they were at one time. How about buying ice cream on Sundays was illegal in Ohio because it was thought to be frivolous and luxurious. Consequently, ice cream vendors would put fruit on top of the ice cream to make it more nutritious, creating ice cream sundaes. So there you go. Hartford, Connecticut. banned men from kissing wives on Sundays. So that must have been boys' night out. Because if you can't kiss your wife, why hang with her? That must have been, that's probably started bowling nights with Sunday nights, okay? Seeing you can't be around your woman to give her a kiss. A woman wearing shorts, a halter top, or a bathing suit at a political rally in Wheatfield, Indiana, could be charged with a misdemeanor. Wow. In Lander, Wyoming, it is illegal for adults to take a bath more than once a month. Once the cold water arrives, children cannot take a bath at all during the winter. Can you imagine not taking a bath? That had to be early 1800s. I'm sure they wouldn't allow that to happen today. In Kentucky, it's against the law to marry the same man 4 times. Well, why would you? You know, they say the insanity means trying to do the same thing over and over again, hoping for a different result. So I guess that qualifies for that. If you want to marry the same person 4 times, you must be insane. At least I would think I'd be insane. I mean, I've done it twice, but I stopped there. In Arizona, a man may legally beat his wife once a month, but not more. Hopefully that's an old one, because I'm sure they're not allowing that to happen anymore. According to an Atlanta, Georgia ordinance, smelly people are not allowed to ride public streetcars. Well, that's a law I think they should still keep intact all over the country, because there ain't nothing worse than getting next to somebody that doesn't smell good. In 1659, Massachusetts outlawed Christmas. According to state law, anybody observing Christmas would be fined 5 shillings. Well, what would that be all about? What about the kids? In California, ostrich steaks are exempt from state law. Ostrich steaks are exempt from state law sales tax. Well, that's pretty good. Anyhow, there's all kinds of fun facts out there that we'd like to share with each other. That's like these sayings. You ever hear the saying like the graveyard shift or Saved by the Bell? Well, that started many years ago, where when people would die, they would just bury them. There were no autopsies, there were no embalming, nothing. Well, the graveyards got so full that when they would pull the old body, the caskets out to make the hole a little deeper so they could add another one, because they would double them up. And they were opening them up. They saw claw marks on the inside of the casket. They realized they were burying people alive. So what they started doing back then was, if somebody died, or at least they thought they were dead, they would tie a string to their finger and to a bell. And they'd have a guy sit in his graveyard overnight in case that person woke up. Because if he woke up and his hand moved, the bell would ring, and he'd be saved by the bell. And the guy that worked the night was working the graveyard shift. And that's how those sayings started. Pretty interesting, huh? That's like the whole 9 yards. You know, back in the wars, when the guys had the machine, the gunner guy, there was always 2 guys. And the one guy was feeding the bullets into the gun. And when the gunner was hitting the button, nothing was coming out, he'd look, he says, "Dad, all you got?" And the guy would say, "That's the whole 9 yards, because the string of bullets was 27 feet long. And 9 yards is 27 feet long." And that's how those sayings started. And there's all kinds of stuff like that. All kinds. Now, what else we got to talk about today is, let's go back to the football thing. You know, they could put men on the moon. They could take guys and put them in submarines that go hundreds, thousands of feet down into the water. Why can't they come up with a helmet to save a person's head? I mean, how hard is it to come up with a padded helmet? I know these guys are ramming each other and this and that, and they're changing the rules of football, but can't they come up with some kind of a protective headgear where these guys ain't getting that banged up, I mean, eventually you take enough hits, no matter what you're protected with, it's going to happen. But you want to try to, keep it at a minimum. So that's why I would tell, if I had a kid that wanted to play football, and that's what he wanted to do, I'd let him do it. But I also want him to get an education, because you can't play football your whole life. Just like a boxer, you can't box your whole life. You take too many hits to the head, you get punchy. And look at these boxers now, like Muhammad Ali and stuff like that. These guys, they don't even know who they are anymore. You have to get an education first and foremost. If you're a good football player and you're going to make it to the pros, you'll get your scholarships through college. Take advantage of that and learn something. Don't just go there to play football and forget about the education part. That's the most important part, because you're not going to play football till you're 60 years old. So what you want to do, get your education, play football. If you're good enough, you make it to the pros, you get a nice contract, make your money, get out, and then figure out what you want to do for the rest of your life, whether it's go into business or be a lawyer or whatever. Because this you can't stop it. There was a guy out, I saw a guy on the news that wanted to just say they should shut down football in colleges. Well, you can't. It's never going to happen. It's America's sport. It's a big money bringer to the colleges. And listen, it's got just as much risk in it as anything else. How about a fireman? How about if you were going to be a fireman? Don't you think that every time you walk into a burning building or to go to a rescue, your life is on the line? How about a police officer? Same thing. Every time he gets a call, his life is on the line. No matter what you do in life, there's risk, but you got to know what they are. So if you're going to play a sport, know what the risks are. Accept them. Take precautions. Even teachers got to worry about stuff today. How about a kid just going nuts and wanting to take a shot at you or punch you? There's all kinds of things going on in the schools today. Nobody's safe. Construction. How about construction? Guys working on the road. How many guys get killed, hit by cars while they're working on the highways today? How about lawyers? Lawyers are the most hated people in the world. I'm sure they're always worried. How about the stress factor with a lawyer? Forget about the hazards. How about the stress factor? The biggest killer in the world is stress. All these things. It doesn't matter what field you go into. Whether you're be a sports, a fireman, a police officer, a teacher, you're in construction. It's all dangerous. Everything has its risk. So you can't blame the sport. You can't blame the job. You just got to be smart and not overdo anything. You know what you're getting into. Do it. Do it for as long as you have to, and then be done with it. It to me is the smartest thing to do. If I had a son that wanted to play football, I'd love it. That's my favorite sport. Don't get me wrong. But I tell you, once he got his contract, he did his 3 or 4 years, I would tell him, listen, now it's time to go and use your education. You got your bank, you made your money, get out before you get hurt. These guys, the old timers, they played so rough. I ran into a couple of time football players, their fingers are banged up, they're a little punchy up in the head. Nice people. But I tell you, they really paid the price for what they did. They really paid the price. So, anyhow, there's risk in everything you do, kids. Remember that. So always be careful. Use your head. Be smart. And stay away from the danger part. That's all. All right. Again, let's move on to something else. More facts. Fun facts. There's, how about kissing? Now, we're going to keep this clean. Don't worry about it. We're not getting crazy. But there's all kinds of facts about kissing. They say that lips are 100 times more sensitive than the tips of your fingers. Do you know that your fingers, all your nerves end in your fingers? That's why, like, if you ever get a little cut on your finger, it hurts like hell because all your nerves end in your fingers. And they're saying lips are 100 times more sensitive than your fingers. I don't understand it, but that's what it says. I think it's a beautiful thing. French kissing involves 34 muscles in the face. A pucker kiss involves only 2. Unbelievable, all these little things. The lips of both men and women, we better skip that one. I don't like where that's going. Anyhow, we have, according to one study, many men are more particular about which women they kiss and who they wanted to kiss, suggesting that kissing is somehow more about love than anything else. Common chimpanzees kiss with their open mouths, but not with their tongues. There you go. X at the end of accordance. The mouth is full of bacteria. When two people kiss, they exchange between 10 million to 1 billion bacteria. Holy cow, I hope it's good bacteria. You know, we do need, there's good and bad bacteria. So hopefully we're getting some good bacteria from those kisses. Anyhow, we're coming in a half hour. We're going to have to take a break here. John's going to give me the sign, and we'll get back to you guys then. Again, this is John DeVita's Broadcast Center on the Northwest Side, Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network at www.windycityhometown.com. So I appreciate you listening, and we'll be back to you in a minute.
From the John DeVita Broadcast Center, you are listening to Opinions with Joe Rouse on the Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network. And now, back to Big Joe.
Hello again. We're back on the air. This is Big Joe over at John DeVita's Broadcast Center on the Northwest Side, Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network at www.windycityhometown.com. All right. Well, in the second half of this show, this is October, so let's just talk a little bit about Halloween. I've got a bunch of fun facts about Halloween, and we're going to start out with the number one is because the movie Halloween in 1978 was such a tight budget, they had to use the cheapest mask they could find for the character Michael Myers, which turned out to be, you're going to die when you hear this, a William Shatner Star Trek mask. Shatner initially didn't know the mask was in his likeness, but when he found out years later, he said he was honored. Now that William Shatner guy, you gotta love him, man. Captain Kirk. This guy he's been in everything, from commercials to now even this, the mask from Halloween. What a beautiful man. How about this one? The first jack-o'-lanterns were actually made from turnips. Turnips. How the heck did they make a jack-o'-lantern out of a turnip? I don't know, but that's what it says. And how about this one? Halloween is the second highest grossing commercial holiday after Christmas. You know, there's people, I got a buddy of mine that got married on Halloween. I think his wife's a witch. Well, she's not really a witch. She's pretty nice, actually. But they loved Halloween so much they got married on it. And her license plate says boo. It's a true story. Her license, she got a license plate. It's B-O-O, boo. So I guess she's pretty up on Halloween, huh? How about this one? Does anybody out there know what the largest pumpkin ever grown was? Pounds-wise? Well, I'll tell you what. It was grown by a guy named Norm Craven. And he broke the record in 1993 with an 836-pound pumpkin. That's like a cow. 836-pound pumpkin. I wonder how many seeds are in that thing. I bet you not many. I learned one thing about pumpkins growing up, because I used to carve them all the time. The bigger the pumpkin, the lesser amount of seeds. The small ones always had more seeds than the big ones. I know that sounds crazy. You can check it out if you want, but that's how I remember it. Now, if I'm wrong, you can let me know. But I pretty much remember the little ones had more seeds than the big ones. Just so you know. Okay? Okay, what else we got here about Halloween? Ireland is typically believed to be the birthplace of Halloween. Now, I'm not sure why, but it says Halloween originated in Ireland over 2,000 years ago. I didn't even know they celebrate Halloween in other countries, to be honest with you. The first known mention of trick-or-treating in print in North America occurred in 1927 in Blackie, Alberta, Canada. So I guess we've been getting free food on Halloween since 1927. You know, that's funny about the whole trick-or-treating thing. I remember when I was a kid. I won't tell you how old I am, but I'm getting up there in age. When we were kids, we couldn't wait to get out of school on Halloween. I mean, we ran home. Now, I got 5 brothers, and I'm telling you, we had a competition of who could get the most candy. And we didn't go trick-or-treating with those little bags these kids carry now with those little handles on them. We went with garbage bags from the store, those big brown garbage bags we used to get from the A&P and whatever. And we would fill 6 of those. I would fill 6 myself. And people would give us not those little bite-sized little mini candy bars. We got full-length candy bars, the big ones. Big old corn balls and stuff like that. And people would make homemade stuff and give it to you. But we didn't care. We took whatever they got. And if they gave us good stuff, we went back around and got some more. We'd go back to that same house until we got caught. And we'd run home with those bags, drop them off, get another bag, go out and get more. And our mother would go through all the candy and throw out anything homemade, because God forbid, you know what some people, crazy people are out there doing. So anything that was homemade was thrown out, and I'm sure some of it was very good, and we appreciate all those women that are out there baking and cooking all that stuff, but just can't trust it. And then my mother would hide the candy from us and always put out a little bit, so much every week, because we'd have gone through it all in a week. We'd be eating Halloween candy come Easter, and then we'd be all replenished with more chocolate from Easter. But that's how much candy we used to get on Halloween. Nowadays, what these poor kids got to do? They get in the car, and the mother takes them to the sister's house, the brother's house, the grandma's house, you know, the neighbor, the friend's house. Everybody's afraid to let their kids go door to door today because you can't trust people. It's a shame what's happening in this country. It's a shame. You know, I mean, you kids growing up today, you don't know what you're missing. I mean, you guys are all high tech now. You're a lot smarter than we were. But I'm telling you, when we were kids, we had it made. We would run up and down streets from the minute we got out of school until 10 o'clock at night, until our mothers were screaming out the door for us to come home. And we'd have all kinds of candy. It was a wonderful, wonderful holiday. And dressing up, oh my God, the way we used to dress up. It was unbelievable. All right, anyhow, how about this one? Halloween is thought to have originated 4000 BC, which means Halloween has been around for over 6,000 years. Okay, well, that kind of contradicts with the old Irish thing, or Ireland thing, which was 2,000 years ago. But anyhow, that's somebody else's opinion, I guess. And that's why this is opinion. Ha ha. Okay, according to tradition, if a person wears his or her clothes inside out and then walks backwards on Halloween, he or she will see a witch at midnight. So I guess this Halloween, if you want to see a real witch, first you probably got to look up towards the moon, see her flying across the sky on her broomstick probably, but You got to wear your clothes inside out and walk backwards. Okay? Give it a try. Let me know. How about this guy, Harry Houdini? Now, everybody knows Harry Houdini, okay? He died in 1926. Was one of the most famous and mysterious magicians who ever lived. Strangely enough, he died in 1926 on Halloween night as a result of appendicitis brought on by 3 stomach punches. There you go. I always thought that Houdini died in that box of water upside down. Remember that trick he used to do? He'd be in a straitjacket. I'm sure if you look him up online, I would tell you to see him on TV, but they don't show that on TV no more. You have to look it up online because all you high-tech children out there. He used to do this trick where they put him in a straitjacket, tied him around by his feet, put him in a tank of water upside down in a straitjacket, and he'd somehow get out of it and come out of there. Right, John? You remember that? I always thought that's how he died. From my back of my head, that's how I thought he died. He just didn't make it one time and he drowned, but I guess not. He died from appendicitis by getting 3 stomach punches, which I'm sure that was some other trick he was doing. Somebody would punch him. I don't know. So, but that was Houdini. Okay, what else we got on Halloween? Both Salem, Massachusetts, and Anoka, Minnesota are self-proclaimed Halloween capitals of the world. So, I guess that's like, speaking of capitals of the world, now Superman. I know it's a little bit off the subject, but Illinois here, we have our own little famous thing here. Now, you could go across the country, and you can see all kinds of states. They have cities named Chicago, or River Grove, or Elmwood Park, or Franklin Park, or this and that. There are there's the names are repetitive all over the country, but there's really only one state in the country that has a town called Metropolis, and it's Illinois, and it's the birthplace of Superman. Yes, sir. Yes, Metropolis, Illinois, which is way down south, just before you get into Kentucky, just off of what the hell highway is it? I forget. But anyhow, it borders on Kentucky, but it's in Illinois. It's Metropolis, Illinois. It's the birthplace of Superman. And if you've never been there, if you're ever traveling out south, it's a good pit stop. You're not going to be there all day. It's an hour stop, maybe 2 tops. You'll be done. It's a nice little town, but they got a big, giant green rock there, which is the kryptonite. They got a huge statue of Superman that you can stand under and take pictures. They got a Superman museum. It's a pretty cool stop. But that's the home of Superman because it's the only town in the country. Illinois has the only town in the country named Metropolis, and that's why we're the hometown of Superman, believe it or not. And if you look around, you'll see there's all these towns that we have around there. There's another one in another state, but there's no other Metropolis. Get that. Get your. You know what you could do is you could get your. What's that thing in the car? Your tells you directions. Your GPS little machine you have in your car, and punch up a state. You can punch up Minnesota, and then put in Metropolis. It'll say there isn't one. Punch up Iowa. Punch up any state you want. There's no Metropolis, just in Illinois. Didn't know that, huh, John? No. Yeah, true fact. Been there a couple times. Pretty cool place. Okay, anyhow, this may be a little sad, but it's true. So they say, children are more than twice as likely to be killed in a pedestrian car accident on Halloween than other night. Well, of course that's true, because there's more kids on the street on Halloween night than any other day of the year. I mean, come on. I thought that was kind of weird, but it makes more sense than anything now that I think about it. So.
Well, the reason why that happens, Joe, is because a lot of these kids have masks on, and part of the mask covers their eyes, or they can't see out of the mask, and of course they're so hyper because it's Halloween, and they're running from door to door and from place to place to get their Halloween treat, and they don't pay attention to
traffic,
or to anything else.
Right, they're running across the street without looking. You're right.
And I know when I was with the other station, Halloween, I always used to say, parents, make sure that when you dress your kids in their Halloween costume, that they have good eye vision, that they can see where they're going, and make sure that they obey the rules and regulations of traffic. Because, and I know even down this street here, the street that I live on today while I was outside working, man, some of these people, they go down these streets like it was the expressway.
Yeah. Plus, your street is a side street, but still it's a two-way street, which is very dangerous.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of the streets here are one way. Yours is a two-way, and it's not like a busy street. It's just it's more of a side street, and that's very dangerous because
it's a residential street.
Yeah.
But I tell you, the way they drive around here, he thinks it was an expressway.
Right. I can tell you a funny story we used to do as we were kids on Halloween, and I'm not telling anybody out there to do this, okay? It's not dangerous, but it was kind of funny. You know those party poppers we used to buy? You pull the string and the little piece of string, paper fly out of there. When we were kids on Halloween, we used to get those party poppers and take kite string and tie it to the string that was already on the party popper. And like the little trees and stuff, the smaller trees that were along the sidewalk and stuff, we'd stick them like in a fork of the tree, and we hide behind cars. And when the kids would go by, we'd pull the string and pop these things and scare the heck out of the kids that are walking down the street. Now, I'm not suggesting anybody do that, but it was pretty funny, okay? And it's not dangerous. It's Halloween, so you're supposed to scare people a little bit, okay? And you're not hurting nobody by doing it. So, anyhow, what else do I got here for some Halloween facts for you people out there? How about Boston, Massachusetts? Boston, Massachusetts. It holds the record for the most jack-o'-lanterns lit at once. 30,128. Now, that's a lot of pumpkins or whatever they're lighting up there. How about this one? The Village Halloween Parade in New York City is the largest Halloween parade in the United States. The parade includes 50,000 participants and draws over 2 million spectators. Wow. In many countries, such as France and Australia, Halloween is seen as an unwanted and overly commercial American influence. And see, that's how I always thought the other countries were, but I guess some of them still like Halloween. Not all of them, but some of them do. All right, that's enough of Halloween. Seeing we're talking about other states and this and that, I'm going to tell you guys a little story about something I did earlier in the year. Now, we all know where Houston, Texas is. And Texas, actually, is probably, I don't think it's the biggest state. California's pretty long. But Houston, Texas is like 900 miles from its two furthest points. It's a very big, Texas itself is 900 miles. Houston is just a big city inside Texas. And I was down there back in February. They have what they call a rodeo. Now, this is going to be pretty impressive. They have what they call a rodeo. It runs for 21 days. There's 28,000 volunteers that work rodeo. That's right, volunteers. They don't get paid. They take a week's vacation and they work the rodeo. It is so popular down there, and they all help. And the rodeo is a big fundraiser. They raise anywhere from $25 to $30 million every year for colleges, for college scholarships. But what they do is they decide where the money goes. Like, they look at what kids are doing. If they see that there's a lull in architects, they say we want X amount of dollars to go to architectural scholarships. If they see there's a lull in doctors, they want X amount of dollars going to doctors. So they keep, it's like they keep everything at an even keel, because if they see something's lacking, they put money into it to have kids go to get a scholarship for that thing. But that's what it is. 28,000 people run that rodeo, and they're all volunteers. You can't get 28 people up here to volunteer for anything. But yeah, people take their week's vacation. It's a beautiful thing. But the best part is, well, not the best part, but the fun part is, before rodeo starts, they have what they call a 3-day cook-off. And what they do is it's like a 3-day party, basically. Last year, they had 440 cook-off teams.
Wow.
440 tents. Every tent had its own cooking team. And they had 3 categories: brisket, ribs, and chicken. So each tent could only enter one of the 3. You can't enter all 3 because they'd have, there was no money. There was just a trophy. There's nobody wins any money. There's no nothing. But the beautiful thing about the cook-off is there's bands and all that. It costs you $10 to get in. They got live bands, this and that. You could go, any tent you could get into, it's free. Anything they have inside that tent, they give you for free. The person that sponsors that tent funds everything they get. The food, the booze, the beer, everything. It was like a 3-day party. It was a wonderful thing. It's like down in Texas, at least Houston, where I've been, because I got friends down there. What they do down there is almost like what our forefathers meant for us to be. They do the right thing. I don't know how anybody can ever talk bad about Texas, man, because I see more people down there do things for other people than anywhere else in the country. They really care. I got friends down there. They do fundraisers for kids to put them through school and this and that. Everything they do is always about the kids, always about the kids, and that's what our whole world was started on. I mean, it's just beautiful. It's just a beautiful thing. So if you ever get a chance to go down to Houston, you should check it out. You'd love it.
I spent 2 months of my life down in Texas.
Did you? When you were in service?
Yeah, I was in El Paso, Texas.
El Paso, Texas.
Yes, sir. Yep. Fort Bliss, El Paso, Texas. I was there for 2 glorious months fighting the tumbleweed.
There's some great cities in Texas, though.
Yes.
Where's the Riverwalk? There's a base down there. My son went to school down there. Not El Paso. Where's the Alamo?
Oh, yeah. I know where you're. I can't think of the name of it.
San Antonio. San Antonio?
San Antonio, I think it is.
Yeah, San Antonio. Yeah. The Alamo, John, I was shocked when I saw it. You ever see it?
Yeah.
I thought it was this big old fort. It wasn't. It was like a 6-foot wall.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was really surprised. It was it was all cool, the history and all that. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, but I thought it was like this big thing, and it wasn't. Man, it was surprisingly. People must have been really short back then, And
when I was down there, I went into the town of El Paso, and in fact, I bought quite a bit of civilian clothes when I was down there. I was just getting ready to leave because my time was up, and I just got up enough nerve that I walked across the bridge and went into Juarez, Mexico. And I just walked at the end of the bridge. I looked around, and I was there for 10 minutes, and I said, you know something? I'm going back.
I'm getting out of here,
getting out of here, yeah, before they claim me,
Yeah, right.
But, I was down there for 2 months. Was it September and October or something like that? I was down there.
Yeah, amazing. You walk across the bridge, you're in another country.
Yep, that's right.
Isn't that nuts?
Hey, you see the Rio Grande River right underneath you. Yep.
Yep. The Rio Grande. But yeah, it's a beautiful. Texas got a beautiful state. Tennessee's another beautiful state. I got a daughter that lives down there. Boy, I've been through Tennessee many times. It's a beautiful. There's so much there's so much to see in this country. It's really nice. You don't have to go. Listen. I've been to Europe. It's beautiful. Everything. Anywhere you go that's new is beautiful. It's good to see things. But there's so much in this country to see. It's unreal.
You know something, Joe? We live here in the city of Chicago.
Yes.
And the city of Chicago is one of the most beautiful cities in the country.
Yes, it is.
And there's people that travel from other states to come here to Chicago, and we in Chicago go to other states to see their how
they live,
how
right?
they live and all that, So, but really, Chicago cannot take a back seat for a beautiful. I mean, you should look at our skyline. It is just amazing, just a beautiful
Yes,
skyline
it is.
we have.
Yes, it is.
Many times. Here not too long ago, we had a ride on the Chicago Fireboat, Engine Company 2.
Okay.
And we were out there in the middle of Lake Michigan, and you look back at the skyline, and look back at the city of Chicago and all that. It's a beautiful city. You can't take it away from it.
No, you can't. And you can't beat the food and the people. Now, I was just in New York about a month or so ago for a wedding, the one I was talking about earlier, and don't get me wrong, it was the first time I've ever been to New York, and it was a cool experience. I went on the Dave Letterman show and stuff. I really enjoyed it, but first of all, their pizza doesn't hold nothing to our pizza. Our pizza, I don't how they could ever say New York pizza is better than Chicago pizza. I don't get it, man. We got the best pizza in the world right here. I mean, we don't do. Oh, I shouldn't say the world, because in Italy, Italy, they do it. They do a whole different kind of pizza. There's not a large and a medium and extra large pizza in Italy. There's one pizza. It's like a 10-inch pizza. Everybody orders their own. When I was in Italy, we were in a group. My cousins, our family, and this and that. There had to be like 15 of us. Well, when we went to the restaurant, we didn't order one. We ordered 15 pizzas. Everybody orders their own pizza. It's all cooked in brick ovens, and it takes like a few minutes. Within 4 or 5 minutes, the pizza's done. And everybody gets their own. And they can cook X amount at a time. I forget how many. So, I mean, it's a whole different thing. And there's restaurants here in Chicago that are doing the same kind of thing with those brick ovens. And it's a beautiful thing. But, John, you're right. You can't beat Chicago. It's a clean city. The people are, for the most part, friendlier than most big cities. We have everything to offer. So, you can't beat it. You can't beat it. Love Chicago. I do a lot of traveling. At least I do as much as I can, because I love to travel. And people always say to me, well, what's your favorite place? Well, my favorite place is home. No matter where I go, no matter how long I stay, I look forward to coming home, back to Chicago. That's my favorite place. I mean, I've been to islands. I was in Aruba for 5 months. I couldn't wait to get home. I really couldn't. You miss your friends. You miss your family. I miss the snow. I mean, right? I mean, John, I'm sure you're probably sick of it, but I miss the snow. I mean, I really did. I mean, but I tell you what, when I was in Aruba, I was there for the holidays, the Christmas and New Year's. It was very, very interesting to see how they celebrated the holidays there. Being on an island and it's 90 degrees. But it was nice. It was nice. It was a great experience. But you can't beat Christmas in Chicago with the snow, and the cold doesn't bother me, and the trees and the lights. It's beautiful. But I'll tell you what they do in Aruba that you will never see anywhere else is New Year's Eve. Now, I like fireworks. I'm a big fireworks guy. I love all that stuff. I've never seen so much fireworks in my life than I did in Aruba on New Year's Eve. From sun up to sun up. It goes all day and all night long. What they do there is they have it's not a very, Aruba, the people that live there, they're not rich. I mean, there's some rich people there, don't get me wrong, but the locals are basically pretty poor, But they all save their money because they all have fireworks on New Year's Eve. It's very important to them. What they do is they light they get these strings of firecrackers, and every home, every business, everything, they put a string of firecrackers in front of their house and they light them because they're supposed to ward off the evil spirits. That's their thing. So all day long, you hear firecrackers going on. I mean, they have, like big hotels, they have a string of like a million firecrackers going. It's like it goes on for like 10, 15 minutes. Bah, 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 bah. It just doesn't stop. And you hear this all day long. And then at night, the skies are lit up till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. It's the most unbelievable thing you ever seen. I was on the roof of a hotel. And no matter what direction I looked in, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. They're still shooting off these beautiful, not all this aerial stuff, not the beautiful stuff like you see at Navy Pier. I mean, there's boats come in. These boats come in with containers, these container boats, and they just drop off containers all over the island. And that's all they do is sell fireworks for like the month before. You know what I mean? It was unbelievable. It was the most unbelievable firework day I've ever seen in my life.
Well, do they do anything like that for the 4th of July in Aruba?
I don't think they do. They don't celebrate 4th of July there, I don't think.
Okay, all right. So what we celebrate here on the 4th of July, they do that on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, they do their fireworks on New Year's Eve, and that's huge.
And you say that they do this to scare the devil for that.
Well, yeah, the string of fire, they do it in front of their property to ward off evil spirits. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a tradition they have there, I guess. Yeah, that they believe.
Now, my brother-in-law, God rest his soul, he always maintained that 1 minute after midnight. In other words, New Year's Eve, and 1 minute after midnight,
right?
A male is supposed to walk in the front door of your home to bring good luck for the year.
Really?
Yeah. So at midnight, about a minute or so after midnight, he would walk out the back door, go around the house, and walk in the front door, and that would bring good luck to the family, or bring good luck to his home.
There you go. See, in Arizona, I've never heard that. That's good, John.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah, well, there's all kinds of traditions out there, and we only got a minute or two left here, but I just want to say, when you talk about traditions are about family, and there's nothing more important than family. No matter what happens in your lives today, if you've got family, you will survive. It's these kids that don't have family that when they have trouble in their lives, they go the wrong way. So,
well, there's another tradition at the stroke of midnight on New Year's Eve at 12 o'clock midnight.
Okay.
We always, and this goes way back into my grandparents' days. At midnight, you drink a glass of champagne. You put money on the floor and jump over the money to bring money in for the year. And also, you eat peas, green peas that you make in salad or something. You eat peas on a knife.
Eat peas on a knife.
Yeah, you put peas on a knife and eat it. Eat the peas off the knife.
I hope it's a skinny knife.
Yeah, but anyways, these are the traditions. You jump over money, you drink champagne, and eat peas on a knife.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, well, I guess we're coming to the end of our show. So just want to say thanks, everybody, for listening. And again, we're broadcasting from John DeVita's Broadcast Center on the Northwest Side at Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network, www.windycityhometown.com. Thanks, everybody, for listening, and hope to entertain you again very soon. Have a great day, and this is Big Joe, and you're listening to Opinion. Have a good day.
You have been listening to Opinions with Joe Rouse from the John DeVita Broadcast Center on the Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network. This broadcast was directed by John DeVita, and our audio engineer is James Rohde. This program was pre-recorded on Tuesday, October the 8th, the year 2013. Thanks for listening.